I'm going to move MC's name here on the overlay. He is up 1-0, spawning on the bottom left side of a Legacy of the Void map here in Dust Towers. It's the blue Protoss, MC.
And his opponent up in the top left-hand corner with a red Terran player, aLive.
So, fun little dumb Rifkin moment with MC. Obviously, I've known who MC is for a very long time. Before I even really got into StarCraft, MC's name was pretty big. His antics were things you saw on YouTube, like the whole Undertaker costume and things like that. But I never knew his name was like Minshew or however you say it. So I remember the first time I saw his name on one of our brackets, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, it's MC, no way!
MC is one of the very few people who has some sort of gamer tag that's related to his actual name. I can only think of like maybe 2 or 3 people who did something like that.
Is Arthur's name even Arthur?
I'm pretty sure it's not Arthur. That'd be a very strange name for a Korean.
Yeah. At any rate, the cool information coming out from the host of the tournament saying that the first map picks are done by the tournament hosts, second and third by the players. And this was MC's pick. So being up 1-0 and on your favorite map pick, that's a pretty good feeling. And almost getting an SCV kill to start the day. Ooh. Oh, don't take corners, man. Corners is how you lose an SCV.
Yeah. Good job repairing that. Gonna keep it alive against any sort of later probe attacks, as I know every Protoss player out there knows when you have a probe in your opponent's base and you see the SCV on low health, that's all you're thinking about. You might even try and fake out and be like, no, I don't care about getting the SCV killed. That's all you can think about in the early game.
People are
going to be coming out relatively soon.
Some good examples of chat, by the way. Jaedong, Lee Jaedong, Maru equals Maru. So I guess, yeah, there are some other people who have their actual names. Just, again, a very small handful. Is Jon Snow's name even John? It's not.
It's Jared. It's close.
I know. It's like it's not even John. Like,
and also, I think someone was saying Donrigu in the chat right now. Future Cossack, but I think Donrigu is the name of a city, not his name.
Well, whatever for the names aside. People asking about why are you here today for your drinking, just so we got this opener slowly showing up. Zombie was unavailable for today, and I could have usually solo casted, but Fear Dragon is a friend of ours. He's been doing a lot of casting, and is actually between jobs because he's moving to, where's it, San Francisco, I think? Yeah,
San Francisco. I'm gonna lose all of my money on rent.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, he's a buddy of mine. Like, why not have him on a cast? He have some good times. He likes Protoss. MC's playing. Like, it works out, guys. So it's good to have Fear Dragon here today. But yeah, Zomgrub's got a tax meeting, doing her taxes, so that's why she can't be here today. I mean, she's visiting her boyfriend Steve in Korea. Sorry, mixed up. What?
Her boyfriend Steve in Korea is the one that does her taxes. So
makes sense.
Both.
Also a little bit racist. Triple pylons coming down, but the probe gets sniped immediately. This bunker positioning out of aLive, so sick. We've actually been seeing more and more Terrans do this. aLive in the Alima League, I do believe that was the first one I at least got to see. You put the bunker at the bottom of the ramp just because A, it protects the ramp, obviously, but B, you prevent those sort of pylons that get in range. If the bunker's at the top of the ramp, Hyun can actually, or not Hyun, excuse me, MC can actually throw down those triple pylons, overcharge, and break the depots, and that's where the game gets really messy. So this bunker becoming more and more of a necessity. Kind of like we're seeing people get more used to using cyclones, we're seeing better bunker placements as well.
Yeah, Reaper is going to be able to come in over here, and it actually got very, very close to getting into the main base. If it got in there, scattered the Oracle, that would have been very annoying, but I think aLive should be pretty ready for it anyways. He's got a Widow Mine moving to the natural expansion, try and snipe that off. He's got a Marine sitting in his main base mineral line. He's looking pretty set and ready to deal with any sort of harassment that comes out.
Really curious about this Phoenix follow-up. I mean, if it's just one, then he's really just worried about making sure that Liberators won't be able to sit there, maybe poke away at a medevac, pick up a Widow Mine, but if he goes for more than 2, if it's like 5, that's where I'm going to get really excited, I guess. Phoenix openers are becoming more common versus Terran right now. Oh,
oh God, I love the control from MC.
Yeah, nice bob and weave.
It's the Protoss players that can immediately react to those oracles and keep them alive against Widow Mines. That always impressed me.
Yeah, the big thing about keeping it alive is, on one hand, you cast Revelation, keep eye on your opponent's army. We all know that's well and good. The other is the lesser known, but the becoming a little bit more utilized, Stasis Trap. Now, we didn't stream this last night, but we were playing some sort of mono battles with Fear Dragon, and he was going Mass Oracle and laying down about 100 stasis traps. They're kind of cool to see. But one of the really, really, really good examples of a stasis trap that can win a game was yesterday's Archon mode finals. Puck and Elhaim versus Kiwikaki and TT1. It was a PvP, and a stasis ward, one stasis ward literally won the game. So those can be really powerful.
They're so crazy good, but like I think that so many people just haven't figured out how to properly utilize them yet, because it's so easy. Like if you throw down the stasis ward or the stasis trap and the other person knows that they're there, it's so easy to just bait out one unit, boom, okay, done, let's move in with the rest of my stuff, and suddenly it's completely useless. But if you can get the money hits off, it's kind of like a burrowed baneling in the sense that it can do amazing amounts of damage or it can do absolutely nothing.
I can't obviously go look for it now, so this is a shout out to any of our subs or mods. If they can go look this up, there's a video I made with Penguin from like what was the second week of the beta, where I was timing out the disruptor shots with the stasis ward ending, and it was so sick and gross and just wonderfully terrible. Anyways, we talked about the Phoenixes going a little bit higher, still going towards 6, resonating glaives underneath this. One of the scary things for a Protoss player in this position, it doesn't matter whether it's versus Zerg or versus Terran, if you're investing in air in any capacity, you typically don't have a ground army for the first 8 to 10 minutes of the game. So, if aLive were to actually just say screw it and push with a stim timing, he might actually catch MC. You know, there's not a wall of pylons ready to go. There's a stasis ward waiting to defend. He may end up getting too caught up defending against the Phoenix at home and lose this opportunity, because right now this is probably the weakest that Hyun, or sorry, I keep saying Hyun, MC is going to be. Sorry, it's weird when you don't actually have a name on the overlay. Like, it's just question marks for me. I put the MC on for the stream, but point being, defending is actually going to be a little bit worse here for aLive than if he had just gone for the push.
Absolutely, and it's sort of one of those awkward things, and the reason why I think a lot of pros players have been doing more of these Phoenix openings is they're realizing that they have the capabilities to keep the Terran players at home unless they are willing to take a decent amount of damage, because this isn't just like 4 or 5 Phoenix, although it may be reduced down to 4 or 5 Phoenix pretty soon with the Liberators and the Marines doing so much damage to the count. Oh no, even going to be sacrificing an extra Phoenix in.
Yeah, Liberators do some really nice splash, but I think they actually accidentally... No, they didn't. I thought an Observer died there. I guess he just moved the second one. Okay. Shout out to Bobble, by the way. He found that link really quick. Jesus. So yeah, definitely check out that link, guys. It was a funny way to use stasis traps early on. And Puck was one of the few players who really picked up on them quickly. But what MC has done here is very important, is if the bio push just comes in stims, you know, these are cloaked, they are stealth. You can't see them unless you've got detection. And if you just stim up that ramp, boom, half your army instantly crowd controlled.
Well, we do have aLive starting to build up that Liberator count pretty well right now. It's setting up at 4, getting out 2 at a time, getting up all his production, has his armory finishing up. He's going to be getting into serious power mode pretty soon. And MC, on such an adept-heavy army, I'm sort of wondering if he needs to take that 4th expansion. And I don't know if I kind of just feel like his unit composition smells to me like he wants to go for some kind of push in soon, especially with all the warp kits finished up and a Templar Archives ready for Archons.
Shout out to Torsver, by the way, says he just bought his Legacy of the Void with his G2A code base. Nice, dude. I hope you enjoyed the campaign. The campaign was actually probably the most fun I've had with any of the 3 campaigns. It got a little repetitive, sure, but it was really awesome. And brutal was actually pretty brutal. But we got 2 very important dynamics happening. Ghost Academy came down. This is actually important for more than just the Templar dynamic, of course. EMPs on all those Adepts, EMPs on the Phoenix to keep them from able to Graviton Beam anything. Very important parts of this, but of course, with Storms, Ghosts are going to be very, very critical.
Absolutely.
It is strange to see them coming out so quick, though. I feel there's a lot of Terran players who really get stubborn and stuck on Marauder Marines for, well, frankly, way too long. Warp Prism hasn't been scouted yet. Woodamai might get a random shot off on it. Turret's going to be in a pretty decent spot. We'll see if this gets out of hand. The harass from this damn thing. Let's not forget, there is Resonating Glaives completed, so this harass could be really strong.
Oh, I love the sensor tower, though. There's so many Terran players that skip out on these sensor towers, but they're so useful. Look at this. Immediately knows, oh, there's a Warp Prism over here. Let me send my Liberator fleet and murder it.
Oh, yep. Well, that's one way to get rid of the problem. Luckily, adepts are not too expensive, so losing those inside the Warp Prism is not the end of the world for MC. He still has a pretty good army supply, but upgrades are starting to falter, and unfortunately, as good as Storm is, and as cool and quote-unquote OP as adepts are, if aLive's on 2-2 when MC hits with 1-1, it's going to be pretty bad news bears. I keep having to check myself. Like, I've said Heon too many times, so I'm going to take this game already.
These ghosts, I really feel like, are going to be a really weird situation, because these ghosts are not going to just be useful against, you know, EMPing Archons or EMPing the High Templar for Storm, but even EMPing against the Phoenix to make sure that they don't have energy to help out with any lifts later on after the Liberators and Medevacs get cleaned up. They're just going to have so many uses that I feel like a lot of this engagement is going to come down to the splitting up of units from MC, as well as aLive's ability to get those EMPs off.
I like the turrets a lot. I like the building placement, can help sort of mess with the AI moving forward. One of the other things to throw into this mix that we haven't really talked about yet, Zealot Charge was actually prioritized over Blink in this game. Charge, as we all know, lets the Zealots connect to the bio a lot faster, but what a lot of people don't seem to know, and I can't remember who, it was Scarlet I think I was talking to, didn't realize Charge actually dealt damage on impact now. And I'm not making this up, guys. They actually do 8 damage. There's like 1 extra swing with that charge on in. So even if they die on the way charging, it still does the 8 damage. Maybe that's one of those 99% useless facts with Fear Dragon.
Oh.
Like,
oh, Phoenix has find all 3 of the Medevacs. They are going to be able to unload in time.
If aLive wasn't paying attention, this would have been devastating. But luckily he was. However, he's still going to lose this army because he didn't bring the rest of his army to reinforce. So the ground army, if not the Phoenix, are going to kill this. And now aLive's going to lose 3 Medevacs worth of units. Oh, keep stimming. Don't stop stimming, man.
There's no escaping over here.
This was actually... This is a pretty good use of them. On his way out, decides to focus down with 3-4 more of those Phoenix. So... kind of like trading out versus Mutalisks in a very Protoss-y extent. It's very important to note the way he's weaved the Liberators right now, too. It's not just about creating an arc, but he's specifically left a lot of Ghosts as well as Widowmines underneath this. It's really unfortunate, though, that the Observer has gotten to see all of this while this has been going on, because that Ghost count is something that's meant to be more of a surprise than like, oh, hey, look, you got Ghosts.
Yeah, and behind this, MC has gotten up 3 robotics facilities. 3 robotics facilities is pretty ridiculous, but I mean, when you're going up to your 5th base, it kind of makes sense. But this is going to allow him to pump out Colossus, a unit that for a really long time people didn't make.
So I like the Colossus, but unfortunately it is like double susceptible to Liberators. Talk more on that in a moment, but Disruptors have become such an important part. Disruptors and Tempest specifically have become a big part of Protoss late game when fighting versus Terran. Liberators with range, Liberators with upgrades, they do seem to be the deal breaker if you can get that right engagement, but Disruptors all day, every day, man. Take care of that bio on the ground.
Well, Adept's going to be coming in over here to the backside of the mineral line, trying to find some avenue for attack. Surprisingly, I think they may even be able to, or most of them might even be able to get out of here.
Not really worth it, though. That buffer for the army now gone. I mean, MC's still sitting on 200 out of 200 army. It's not bad, but really was never going to get too much damage done with the Liberators reacting like that. Now, if this was a big distraction while a Warp Prism went to the main, or that army pushed in through the south, I mean, that would have been great, but unfortunately, all the Adepts just kind of given away. Liberators now across the map looking to get some shots, but cannons and stalkers are going to catch them. Nicely done. I mean, MC is on 5 bases right now. aLive's trying to match that, so this is a really good macro game. You don't really see this type of TVP often. Ghost going to find these Templar. Nicely done. EMPs on every single one of them, and of course, no actual snipes, but just auto attacks. Bonus damage versus light is fantastic.
But here gets a little bit awkward because alongside, oh god, here's where it gets super awkward. The high ground vision not available for MC right now unless he gets those Phoenixes or the Colossus but close enough to those Liberator zones.
There's enough Liberators left in the sky combined with a couple of Vikings that it's going to be really hard to get close to this. I don't love that he's left the Ghost cloaked. Unfortunately, that means he's not going to have that many EMPs for round 2. Not that he needs them. Picking off those Templar was very, very important. And it's been so long since we've seen Colossus. I actually didn't know what their Collector's Edition skin looked like, but that looks pretty sweet. That's the Purifier Colossus for those who've never seen it before. Drop in the main, though, en masse. Templar running up this ramp, and oh god. That's a lot of storms, but also a lot of very expensive units about to die, unfortunately. MC also going to go for the attack on the other side. Liberator's going to try and hold this position. Stalker's blinking into it. Storm's coming down, but this base trade looks like it's going to go in the favor of the Terran at this rate.
Yeah, and here's the problem right now in my mind is that MC has lost almost all of his anti-air with the units that he's base trading with. So
actually, yeah.
if the Liberators alone just come back and start trying to deal with the Colossus, they're not going to be able to do anything.
Technically, you could dance around this, but I actually like that the Sentry seems to be winning, and the Sentry, one Sentry kills 2 Liberators, double kill. Other side of the map, no ground units going to be had. Reinforcements going to be lost to MC momentarily as he starts losing more and more of these gateways. He's making some Archons, a little bit desperately trying to save up for some Storms. Colossus now on top of production. It doesn't look amazing for Alive at home, but it doesn't look that great for MC either. These Colossus going to find wonderful chokes for these Marines to get stuck in. Those Liberators coming out. That one Sentry's not going to save them this time. Those Colossus all going to die if they sit here. He's got to move.
Oh. Oh my god, these Colossus are doing so much damage on the retreat.
I know, the Sim City from Alive is killing him so badly. If MC starts building production at his 4th, he might not be too bad. There's lots of cannons there to defend. Army supply, though, half that of Alive's. I mean, this was like a 3-3 battle. Production got compromised on both sides. Ghosts come back home to seal the deal. Oh. And MC did lose all of his warp gates in the main, but he does bulk up a pretty decent army of Archons and Zealots ready to fight. Just a little bit too scared to move in with those Liberators. They will, of course, deal like close to 100 damage a shot. So the Archons with their great shields are not going to even last too long. He can't even move out of his base either. That's the worst part. Gonna move on in here, but the Liberators focus fire down on the Archons. No anti-air whatsoever, and looks like Alive is gonna bring back this series. Good game.